A very good day, my dear student. Today we'll learn chapter number 9, that is more, chapter number 10, that is more on Microsoft Visual Studio. Let us see. So, students, in this chapter we'll learn about user and workspace setting, debugging and editing, code navigations, errors and warning, and keyboard shortcuts editor. So, let us see. User and workspace setting. In Visual Studio Code, it can be configured to the user requirement through various settings. It also provides two different scopes for setting. Like first one is user setting which can be used to apply globally to Visual Studio Code, or workspace setting which is used to store inside the workspace and is applied only when the workspace is open. Workspace setting override the user settings. The following steps to open user and workspace is file, preferences, and then settings. Okay, next is a list of default settings also appear along with the setting option. Tab under the search box are used to switch between the user and workspace setting file. Now, what is the setting editor? Setting editor is the user can search and discover setting to be changed from the default setting. These settings can be used to change the look and feel of the attribute of the screen. If you want to change the attribute setting, then using the setting editor, you could be able to change the default setting and you can have your own setting in that. Okay, the keying in the search bar show the highlight and the settings matching the criteria and filter them out. Based on the specific requirement, the change in the default setting can give the desired result. Next is your edit setting. What is the edit setting here? With the cursor is hovered. What do you mean by hovered now? Hovered means what? It remain in one place in air. Oh, so when the cursor is in one place in the air over setting an edit action with a small pencil icon appears, a drop down with the available setting values is seen when the pencil is left clicked. Select a value from the drop down and the setting will be value to the currently open settings file. So with the hovered setting, you could be able to edit your setting in Visual Studio. Next is setting group. In setting group, the default settings are represented in groups. It has a commonly used group at the top which shows popular customization and other specific group. These are the grouped and listed which are as listed below. You can see these are the groups which are being available. This allow the user to easily navigate between the groups. Next is your debugging. Debugging, what do you mean by bug? Bug means what? Error. Debugging means removing those error is known as what? Debugging. The debugging support is one of the key feature of Visual Studio Code. It has a built-in debugger that help accelerate the user's built-in means what? That from the earlier it has been inserted in that. Okay, the debugger is available in that which used to remove the bugs from the Visual Studio. Okay, that helps accelerate the user edit, compile and debug looping actions. Okay, next, debugger execution. In the Visual Studio, it has a built-in debugging support for the node.js runtime. It is a runtime known as what? Node.js, and can debug JavaScript, TypeScript and other languages. To debug other languages and runtimes, debuggers extension must be installed either from Visual Studio Code Marketplace or by clicking on install additional debuggers. So in this chapter, student, we will see only the theory part. No need to see its practical addition. Just go through the theory part. Okay. Next, editing. In the Visual Studio Code, it includes the features for highly productive source code editing. Now, what is the source code? The code which is being available from the earlier file is known as what is source code editing. So linting, multi-cursor editing, parameter hints are some of the powerful editing feature of Visual Studio Code. Now, what is linter? A linter is a tool that provides warning for suspicious looking codes by providing warning, errors and light bulb action. If there is some error, then through a warning or clip, a light bulb is used to show the warnings that it is suspicious. Okay, now extensions are essential for Visual Studio Code to support linters. Now, Visual Studio provides support for JavaScript linters. Linter extension, when enabled, validates the JavaScript code as and when it is typed. Okay. So, what is debugging? Identification, removal, or error from a computer program. Node.js is what? It is an open source cross-platform JavaScript used for server-side runtime scripting. Source code is what? Source code is set of instruction statement written by a programmer using a computer programming language. And linter is what? It is tool that identifies suspicious usage of computer language in a software. Now next is your multiple selection multi-cursor. To uh, what is the usage of it? It is used to perform simultaneous actions, and Visual Studio Code support multiple cursor. A secondary cursor can be added with Alt plus click. Okay. Next, multiple cursor modifier. For applying multiple cursor can be changed with editor multi-cursor modifier setting also. And next is code navigation. It is used when combined with programming, and it has the power of an integrated development editor, which is known as IDE, and the speed of a text editor through what code navigation. Now quick file navigation, it can be used for navigation between files while exploring a project. um, it has two powerful commands to navigate in and across file, like hold Control and press tab to view a list of all files open in an editor tab, and hold Alt and plus left and Alt plus right to navigate between files and edit location. And special shortcut and control key opens a list of recently used files which can be opened in the current code editor. Next, error and warning. It can be generated by either the following. Like first is configure task and rich language services or linters. So for that, since we have love bug free code, warnings and errors show in multiple places in the user interface of Visual Studio Codes. The status bar displays summary of all the error. Second part is a keying control plus shift plus M displays the problem panel, and inline with the text and in the overview ruler is rendered on opening a file with error or opening. Lovebug is a computer virus that spread through email attachment named I love view.text.bbs. It is a computer virus name. Okay. Next is your keyboard shortcut. Editors are also available. It provides easy keyboard shortcut editing experience using keyboard shortcut editors. The user can easily change, remove or reset their key bindings using the available actions. Okay. Next, so the keyboard shortcut dispatching is one done by analyzing a list of rules that are expressed in JavaScript object notation known as JSON. Each rule consists of a key that describes the pressed case, a command containing the identifier of the command, an option when clause that is evaluated depending on the current context. The key is made up of modifiers and keys. Control plus Alt plus Shift plus Windows plus are the modifiers that are accepted in Windows operating system. So this is all about your chapter. In this chapter, we will see only the theory part. We won't do the practical section. Thank you, students.